Hi everyone, my name is Emily and I'm the young adult librarian at the Rock Island Public Library, and today for Manga Monday I present to you Spy Family. So this series is the first shonen series that I've really gotten into in a bit, and it's a lot of fun. Volume 8 I believe comes out tomorrow if you're watching this the day I post this video, so you can check that out. It won't take you too long to read the whole series, perhaps, if you are interested in doing that, because we're just 8 volumes in. And in this book, you meet Twilight, and he's a spy. He is a spy for the nation of Westalia, and I believe Ostania is the country in which he is in. And there is a growing movement led by a man named Donovan Desmond to try and start a war between East and West. And there's been a war before. This is why Twilight became a spy, in large part, was to hopefully prevent future wars, because he himself and many people suffered during the war that happened when he was young. So now, for his new assignment, he has been tasked with getting close to Donovan Desmond, who is the leader of this political party that kind of wants to foment war. But, problem for Twilight is Donovan Desmond is basically a recluse and doesn't really leave his home except to go to school events at his son's school. He has 2 sons, one is older, the other is like just gonna go into 1st grade. And this is Eden Academy. This is the best school in the country. So Twilight's assignment is he needs to find a wife and child and form a fake family and get the child into the school. So Twilight does this part first. He's not thrilled, but he goes to an orphanage and he meets this girl, and her name is Anya. And right away Twilight's thinking, well, I'm not sure if this kid's gonna work for this, because I need a kid who is old enough to read and write and do schoolwork, because like Eden starts with 1st grade and you have to take a test to be accepted into the school. And right away, Anya says, oh, I'm 6 years old. And he's like, okay, well, he's still not sure. So to prove how smart she is, what she does is she takes a crossword puzzle and she does it right in front of him. And Twilight's thinking, wow, this is great. This kid is definitely smart enough to get into this school. But what Twilight doesn't know is that Anya is a telepath. So the reason she knows to tell him how old she is, or that her age is what she wants, and the reason she can answer all the crossword puzzle questions is because she can read his mind. She can read anybody's mind. And she thinks, she knows he's a spy. She understands that's why he's come to find a kid, and she's like, this is so cool. Yes, I want to be adopted by a spy. So she ends up getting kidnapped, and poor Twilight, he's trying to figure out how to get this kid to want to be part of this mission, because Anya doesn't want to study. She's probably 4 or 5 years old, honestly. And her whole thought process is, why should I have to study? I can just read minds during the test and get the answers that way. But, of course, if she reads the wrong kid's mind, she's going to get the wrong answers. So this becomes a challenge over the course of the series, where she kind of has to learn to study and start to figure out, all right, I can't just hope that I read, the right person's mind on test day. So, in rescuing Anya, Twilight, he eventually is able to get her to the place where, okay, I know you don't want to study, I get that, but let's just do our best here. And so they eventually get to the day of the test, and Anya passes, she gets in, hooray. So that's phase 1 accomplished. But phase 2 is finding someone to play the role of the wife, because there's a family interview at Eden Academy, and both parents have to be present, no exceptions. So this is what happens next. Twilight meets this woman, and her name is Yor. She works at City Hall, and she is just this regular person. She's got kind of what seems to be a very regular, uninteresting perhaps, job. And ever since her parents died, Yor has raised her younger brother. They're both adults now. And Yuri, her younger brother, he's started to kind of worry about her. He's to the point where he's got a good job, and he's like, hey, I appreciate all the sacrifices you made for me growing up, raising me on your own. That was a lot of hard work. But I wonder, are you happy? Do you have a boyfriend? Are you ever thinking about getting married? Yor isn't interested in this, but she doesn't want Yuri to worry about her. So when she meets Twilight at this dress shop, he's buying clothes for Anya. And again, Anya can read both their minds. So in this situation, she says something like, "Oh, I miss Mom so much." And Yor's like, "Oh, where's your wife? Is she out of town?" And this is the story Twilight tells her. He says, "Oh, my wife died a couple years ago, and her dying wish was for our daughter to get into Eden Academy. And now, my daughter, Anya, has passed the test, but we need to do a family interview. So, obviously, this is a wild thing to ask somebody I just met, but would you pose as my wife for the family interview?" And Yor's just like, "Oh my gosh, wow, that's such a sweet, sad story. Yeah, of course, I will pretend to be your wife, but in exchange, I need you to pretend to be my boyfriend and come with me to this party at work." Now, here's the thing that Twilight doesn't know, and again, Anya knows, because she can read minds. In addition to her job at City Hall, this would not have been enough for her to raise her brother by herself. This would not have been enough money for her to keep a home and food for two people growing up. So no, this is just sort of Yor's cover job. Her real job is an assassin. So she's been killing people for many years, and the way it's always been presented to her is she's only killing bad people. She's making the world a better place. So she's proud of her job. She's like, "You know what? I do important work." Like Twilight, it's a job that nobody's ever gonna know about. Like, ideally, no one will ever find out who she is or what she's doing. But she's like, "Yep, this is what I do to make the world a better place." So, Yor and Twilight, they agree they're going to be pretend married. And here's how well this works out. Because actually, Twilight screws up at the party. He arrives after having to do another job, and he's been hit in the head. And he's like, "I'm so sorry. I said I was your husband, and I meant to say boyfriend. I'm so sorry." And Yor's like, "Well, okay, it's fine. It worked out. We were able to fool my coworkers." And they get chased by the people who previously Twilight was working with. And Yor at one point just nails one of them, kicks this guy. And what Twilight has told her is that he does concussive therapy. Sometimes his patients get violent, and it's don't worry, I'm a doctor, and I know in psychology this might sound strange, but concussive therapy, it's revolutionary, and it's really helping people out. So Yor kicks this dude, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm not trained in this, but I know self-defense, so it's, I just thought I would stop this guy from attacking us." And Twilight's just like, "Oh, yeah, thank you." Both of these people are so weird that they don't really, clock the weirdness of the other person. They don't want the other person to figure out who they are, so they're not noticing the strange things about the other person. And at one point, Twilight, he's looking around because he got a ring from this job. They were recovering stolen artifacts, and he was going to give the ring to Yor, but then he loses it. So what he does, these people chasing them have grenades. So he pulls the pin on the grenade and gives it to Yor as a ring. And kills the guys chasing them, and then, they agree, okay, we're gonna be married, and we're both gonna keep who we really are secret from each other. And so that's what this series is about. It's these three people trying to be a family and trying to make sure that no one knows who they really are. To the world, they're just this nice family. And Anya's the only one who knows exactly what's going on. And you can see her here. This is the just title, sort of opening color image to introduce you to the series. And you see these three, they do pretty well. They start to fool the outside world with a little bit of practice. But the question as the series goes on is, at one point, there are certainly close calls, but sometime you have to assume somebody is going to, other than Anya, find out who someone really is. Their identities might be discovered, and they're really trying to keep this from happening, but I don't know. I'm on volume 6, and so far, the tension and the comedy of this is very good. It's a lot of fun. So if you enjoy manga, check this out. The series, the anime is coming back, I think October 1st. So you can watch the first half, and then first half of season 1 is out there on Crunchyroll and I think on Hulu. But yeah, volume 8 of the manga is out Tuesday, tomorrow. And yeah, I know in the anime coming back in October, we're gonna get to like the second sort of big arc in the story, and they're gonna get a dog. The family, the Forger family, they will get a dog, and the dog can see the future. So that's a lot of fun for Anya, having somebody else to kind of help her figure out what's going on with her parents and sort of help them secretly. So thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon.